Hello. Welcome, Longman Tarot. It's Richie. So nice to see so many of you here. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate this. And I hope you're very, very well. Today, I'm going to be looking at Celtic decks. I'm going to use the term Celtic decks because I want to talk a little bit about what that means in a little while. But I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit husky. I caught COVID last weekend. I was going down with it when we did Long Stash last weekend. So hopefully you can hear me. If I have to go and have a cough, I'll turn my microphone off. But I'm well on the mend. Just got the last few remnants of COVID. So hello to all of you. Let's say hello to a few people. Plucky Heroine was here. Oh yes, it's the full moon, isn't it? It's a full super moon, harvest moon. Got that right, isn't it? It's tonight. It's clouded up here, unfortunately. I don't think I'm going to be able to see it. Maybe I'll pop out later. Anyway, happy full moon to you. And oh, lovely Plucky. I hope you enjoy the playback. And hello to anyone who's not in chat but just watching or going to be watching on playback. You are very welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Beth is here. Hello, Beth, to you. Yeah, I'm on my own flying solo today. Looking forward to it. Yeah. Oh, bye, Plucky. Absolutely. So Vanessa is here. Hello, Vanessa. Great to see you here. I hope you are doing well. And Vanessa is listening and watching whilst packing. Oh, where are you off to? Do let us know. Lynn, good evening to you. Hello to you. Happy Friday. Red Wing, hello to you, my lovely. Good to see you here. I hope you're doing well. And Heather's here. Hi, Heather. Hope you are well. Hi to everyone in Chelsea's, Heather. Yep, that's me there. Donna is here. Hello, Donna. Hello to you. I hope you're doing well. And anyone, as I said, that's watching but not commenting, you're very, very welcome. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am feeling better. It was, how many times have I had COVID? That was my second time. And to be honest with you, I thought it was like a really bad cold I was having last Friday when I was with Gerald and Chris doing Long Stash. I was like, this is a really bad cold, but I'll be okay. And then on the Saturday I tested and it wasn't. It was COVID. There's so much of it about again. So par for the course when I, go back to work after the summer as well. So, but thank you for all your lovely thoughts, oh, Donna. Thank you. Oh, you're off to a road trip to San Diego for fall break. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Well, I hope you have a wonderful time. What's the colours like there? I don't know very much about San Diego. So are the autumn colours starting yet? Be loving to know. Let me know. And Beth says, I'm doing well. My dog had major leg surgery, so I'm taking care of him 24/7. Oh, well, wishing your dog all the very best. Absolutely. I hope Pup is recovering well, says Donna. And Kathy's here. Hello, Kathy. And everyone's wishing Vanessa happy travels. Love to your fur babies. So we're here to talk about Celtic decks. Oh, look who's come in. Hello, my lovely Deanna. How are you? Just in time. I hope you're doing well. I've got a lot of coffee here tonight to keep me going. But yeah, good to see you here. Lovely. Yeah, so I'm going to do Celtic decks. A couple of weeks ago, I did my Viking and Nordic decks, which I really enjoyed talking about and showing those. And I did say I would do some more. So I thought, right, let's go Celtic. Let's go and do some Celtic stuff. So that's the plan for tonight. I've got about 6 decks to show you, but we're going to talk a little bit about the issues with perhaps the title Celtic in a moment, as I have discovered. Has anyone seen Little Sister Tarot so good? No, I haven't. Or if you want to, can you pop a link in? That's be lovely. Yeah. Hello, Tiffany. Good to see you here. Oh, Vanessa, thank you. COVID is no joke. You're in the desert of Arizona at the moment, so it's hot, dry, and brown. And I'm so excited as I need to see the ocean to recharge. Well, I hope you have some wonderful weather, and I hope you do get that chance to put your feet in the water and recharge and ground yourself. That sounds absolutely fantastic. I'm wishing you a very, very lovely little trip there. How wonderful. Okay, so not doing readings tonight. I've done quite a few readings last few Fridays. We're just flicking through some of the decks, and they are decks. Many of you will have them. So yeah. So do join in. If you would like me to look in some of the books as we go, if you want to have a look at some of the cards a bit closer up, or you want me to go back and please just put it into the chat, and I will do that as best I can. Oh, Tiffany, you're from Salem, Oregon. How wonderful. Oh, fantastic. It's lovely to see you here. The Pacific Northwest Tower is beautiful too. It is. I don't have it, but it looks fabulous. Hello, Sandra, my lovely. Good to see you here. I hope you're well. I did have a bit of a chuckle to myself just setting this one up, because I was with you when I bought one of these decks, and it reminds me of the conversation we had about that, but we'll come on to that bit in a moment. Right, let's get going, because I'm very aware of the time, and I've got 6 decks to get through, plus chat and everything, and the time will fly by. So, Celtic mythology. I thought I knew quite a bit about Celtic mythology, and then in the last few days I've researched it. I found out I probably don't know very much at all. And I wasn't even quite sure what the Celtic period was. And if I'm brutally honest, I'm not convinced that some of the deck creators who called their decks Celtic did do either. But that is no true reflection of any of the creators today. We're just going to enjoy the artwork for what it is. The Celtic period, if you want to know, is from about the early Bronze Age. So about 1000 BC. And it was a kind of movement, I suppose, from Central Europe and Turkey that kind of moved across the whole of Europe into Britain about 600 BC. But there is no real kind of there wasn't any writing that was put down at all. It was purely, I mean, if you think Celtic, if you say the word Celtic, be interesting to see what people, if anyone wants to put into comment there, what's your images of Celtic? When we say the word, what does it conjure up? What do you think about? So I'll give you a moment to, perhaps if you want to put that into chat, do. So 600 BC, Britain was under the Celtic banner. And that went on until 43 AD, when the Romans conquered Britain. And Britain became obviously Roman. So that was the end of the Celtic period. However, as obviously the Celts didn't just disappear, they got amalgamated into the Roman lifestyle, became, I suppose many of them did take on the Roman way of life. However, many of them didn't. And I mean, one of the most famous UK Celts is Boudica, Queen Boudica, who had a revolt against the Roman occupation and burnt 3 of the major Roman cities to the ground there before she was captured. And so she's probably our iconic kind of Celtic queen, warrior queen there. But yeah, it then kind of went on a little bit more right up until the sort of Middle Ages, really. So it was at this time, as I've discovered, and what we're going to include today, is it was at the time of great storytelling. And so we'll be looking at some of the things like Beowulf and the start of Arthurian legend as well, because that all happened about the same time there. So hi to everyone joining us. And of course, it covers Druidry and all that was going on at the time. So it's a big thing that's going on. And yet we don't quite know all about it. So it's kind of locked away in time there. Let's have a catch up what people are saying before we start looking at the first deck. Oh, Marita's here. Hello, my lovely. Good to see you here. Deanne says, I think it's of the Celtic knot and the colour green. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I think of the wonderful knot work, and we're going to have a look at some decks that have got that in their design. And for me particularly, gold work and the metal work, the jewelry that was worn with garnets and gold and stuff like that. So that sums up the Celtic period to me. Heather says, my significant other grew up in Jacksonville. Ah. Beth says, Scottish, Welsh, Cornish, Irish, I think what is now France and Germany. Absolutely, yeah. Those are the major parts that still held on to their Celtic origins. I mean, the Romans didn't conquer Scotland or Ireland. They kind of stopped just about England. They did have a go at Wales, and they didn't really conquer that much down in Cornwall. So it's the areas where the Roman occupation of Britain didn't really happen that much. But you're absolutely right, yeah. Just catching up with people. Yeah, Donna says, yeah, I was going to say, yeah, pre-Roman Isles and northern France. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well done. And Beth says, sorry, my laptop's some weird virus, and if I go on Etsy, I get some fraud. Oh dear. Okay, pop the thing in again, and people can have a little look on there. So that's absolutely fine. No worries. Hi, Carla. Good to see you. Can't wait to see all these decks. Some of them are very familiar, but I can't wait to show them for it to you. Hello, anyone joining us? Hello, Anne. Good to see you here. Honestly, don't have any knowledge of Celtic themed decks, but looking forward to learning more from you all. That's wonderful. And yes, absolutely. Let's all pitch in with our thoughts and our historical knowledge, because it's really useful. I'm no expert on this period of history, but I just know that I love it and it has a real calling for me. So yeah, please feel free to pitch in and put in any comments that you like there. Ange is here. Hello, Ange. Evening from South Cheshire. I am new to Longman Tarot. Well, it's lovely to see you here. Thank you for stopping by and saying hello. I hope you enjoy this evening. Please feel free to comment if you'd like to in here. It's lovely to see you here. Welcome, welcome. And Beth says it's the Little Sister Tarot on Etsy. And Vanessa says, I'm excited to see the Celtic decks. Okay, in a moment, we'll be there. We'll be there. So, Naruta said, I saw a video that said the Celtic people came out of the steppes, which is where my people came from too. Latvian Celts. Okay, probably. As I say, when it was all that kind of part of Europe where it all came from. And I was surprised that it was from Turkey as well. So wonderful, wonderful. I'm just catching up with people. There we go. Thank you. So today, I suppose we need to talk about the religion of the Celts, because it makes a really big influence still today. The pagan pantheon, or the Celtic pantheon, I should say, are, let me go into right, Dagda, Lugh, Brigid, the Morrigan, Danu, and of course, Cernunnos. And although none of these decks are specific to a certain deity, you're going to see that they are going to keep appearing in the images that come up here as well. So that's the idea behind it. So without further ado, let's have a look at our first deck. Wales has the most pre-Roman DNA. I like that. Well, I think it's really fascinating how the Romans came along and colonized, and yet kind of didn't kind of completely take over. And a good example of that is in Bath in Somerset. It's Bath in Somerset, isn't it? Where there's a big Roman bath. It still has beautiful hot water that come up from under hot springs. And it's called, and the goddess there is Sulis Minerva. Sulis comes from the Celtic goddess of the hot springs there. And Minerva is obviously the Roman goddess of wisdom. And so the Romans decided they weren't just going to call it Minerva. They were going to still just hang in there and keep the link to the local Celtic deities. And I love that. And I love that it's still recognized as Sulis Minerva. And there's actually, if you go to the museum at Bath, there's actually a bronze head of Sulis Minerva, looking very Roman, I might add, but it's still really, really wonderful. Right, the deities I work with are both Celtic and, which I love, absolutely. You do have a very good understanding, so hopefully, Sandra, please feel free to add in any information that you'd like to. That would be really wonderful today. And Lynn says, my paternal roots are Welsh. Wonderful. And Calla says, the Welsh has the most remaining traceable DNA. That's right. Very strong looks. A couple of my friends are Welsh and they have stunning looks. You can spot them. You can see that there's a trait there that's going on there. They're absolutely lovely. Right, quick swig of coffee. Sandra, yay. Okay, so I had to go for this one first. So I'm going to put the camera down now. I'm going to get rid of myself. Let's have this one up. So here we go. I had to have this one, didn't I? Now I know it's called the Druid Craft, but I have to say, out of all the decks that I have in my possession, this is the most Celtic themed one that I feel the most drawn to. So I wanted to go straight in with this one because we're going to be comparing all the other decks to this one. And I know it's a great love of most of us, and that we do, most of us do have a copy of it. Hi, Kristen, good to see you here. We love the Druid Craft. Those of you that are new to the channel may not know that years ago when I started this channel, one of the reasons I started was to have a bit of a moan, a bit of a whinge about the Druid Craft Tarot. I'm completely over that now, but I had some rather unfortunate purchases of this deck that turned out to be fraudulent, and the artwork and the cardstock was dreadful. So I used to hate the deck, and then I actually got myself a decent copy of the deck and fell in love with it. And now I own 5 copies of this, and I'll explain why in a minute. It comes in different formats. So this is the big box one with the pull-out drawer. You can get it in a smaller version if you would like to. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you here. I bought this one out. It is my old... Well, to be honest with you, it's my all-round deck, but I have a certain thing for this deck in autumn and winter. So I'm just going to take it. It's so big, this, that it comes in, doesn't fit on the screen properly. And I'm so pleased that everybody seems to know this deck and love it, because it really is beautiful. This is the book that it comes with. Absolutely just wonderful. My only moan is the font type is in brown, and it's quite difficult to read in low light. So you will need to take this book out and have some really good lights for this one. But it's packed with information, and the artwork in it is by Will Worthington, who we're going to use his name quite a lot this evening. So let's have a look at the deck. They are big cards, and you can see here, if I show you how they compare to standard tarots, they're big, which is why a lot of people trim them. And that's exactly what I did. I trimmed this deck. And I'm going to show you the trim deck because it's less glossy, so it's not going to reflect the lights in the room quite so much. And I keep this is my autumnal version of the Druid Craft. I think I did some readings with it on Longstash last week. And I've actually trimmed it, and I've trimmed it and edged it with garnet red felt tip, a Sharpie, I think it was. And then I've edged it with gold. So it's got a real autumnal gold leaf, red berries feel to it. I took just the borders off this one, and it's just going to be a bit easier to manage. So this is the one that I'm going to show you. Hi, Gerald. Good to see you here. Kristen says, I would love this deck if it weren't for the borders. Yeah, I wish they'd come out with a borderless. I don't think they ever will, but I mean, I would suggest taking a pair of scissors to them. The thing is, it's never going to be pristine. I mean, there are people that can trim decks and do a fantastic job on them. I am not one of those people, but the moment I started cutting the edges off it, I just felt a much more grown to this deck, and I absolutely love using it. And I've edged 2 now. So I said this is the autumn one, and the winter one I've got is blue with like crystals on it, silvery ice-like crystals on the edges, which is great fun to shuffle there. I would say give it a go, because if it all goes horribly wrong, you can always buy yourself another deck. These ones are pretty easy to get hold of. And as long as you don't mind the fact that it's never going to be as perfect as it was on the original one, I like that about it, actually. I like the fact that it's a bit rough and ready and so much easier to shuffle, I have to say there. So, oh, bye, Heather. Good to see you here. Take care. Yeah, Sandra says, I've trimmed mine, edged it. Love the edging. It does look gorgeous. I'm so proud of it. Thank you, Calla. That's really kind of you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Look, it does look much better trimmed. Yeah. Yeah, trimming went horribly. I used to have a trimming went horribly wrong. Yeah, it's deciding which bit you stop at, isn't it, with these ones? Okay, so if you trim it, the back doesn't look too bad. It kind of, the gold border just sits on the edge, and that can annoy you. But I realise it's never going to line up properly again, so I don't worry too much about the backs there. Gerald appears when you say autumnal. Conjuring him up. Now, I have to say, I have not, apart from one deck, actually, I've put these in order. This is a deck that I've been using today, so I didn't want to put it all back in order. So I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to show you as it comes here. Okay, so I'm just going to get myself lined up under the camera so you can see it. As I say, most of you, okay, that's how we're going to play it, reversals. Okay, as I say, most of you do know this deck really well. And what I love about it, actually, this is a good example, the style, the fabrics that Will Worthington paints in this, the look of the people, they look like people, of that era. However, obviously, I know he's probably drawn it from life. Bear that in mind when we have a look at the next deck, actually, when we say that one there. I love the colours as well. The blues on here, the skies particularly. Will Worthington is artistic genius, but when it comes to skies, backgrounds, it blows my mind what he's capable of doing. And I also love all the details, like the stones. You have to look into his cards really deep. There's always lots of hidden extra, I can say Easter eggs, extra bonuses in there. I think most of the decks this way around would do it this way. There's not one card in here that I dislike. Colours are rich. I love the lady as our Empress. I love the bored-looking man here that just wants the people around him to go away. I love the fact he's got his hand to his head there. And even the dog looks fed up there. I just love the skies. There we go. This lovely purpley blue sunrise, sunset, however you want to interpret it there. This is a deck I don't have, says Deanna. Everyone go ahead and fall off your chairs. Do you know what, Deanna? Do you know what? I can understand why, because sometimes this deck, you can look at it and just go, no. And it's not until, I have to say, I was very much the same. It wasn't until I actually started having a copy and using it. I love this tree. I love the ancientness, and that's the other wonderful thing about this. Obviously, it's called the Druid craft, but there's this massive sense that nature is equally as important in every image as well as the people that are in it. Beth doesn't have it. Doesn't appeal to you. That's interesting. And no, I don't have it either. Ooh, look at all these people. I thought everybody would have this one. Okay. I keep meaning to buy it and picking something out. It's weird. Well, I'm a great believer in this deck, or decks coming to you when they're supposed to be. And again, this card is one that's just so much water, and then you notice things like the salmon jumping up the waterfall there. So here's a good example, Canunos for the devil. And like I said, that drawing back on the Celtic gods. And this is just wonderful. I just love the light that comes through this card and the two people there asleep. And then there's this brooding presence. And if you don't know anything about Canunos, it can look very, very threatening, bearing in mind, you've got the links to the idea of it being the devil. However, saying that, I just think that there isn't quite the darker side of it necessarily that you might get with the devil's card, having known a little bit about Canunos and how the god works there. But it is just a wonderful image. I love the human quality of the court card. So this Queen of Wands here, how she's sitting on her throne. The cat's still under, so it follows all the RWS symbols that you would want to on here. But there's a real sense that this person could reach out and talk to you. Oh, thank you. Good job trimming, colouring the edges. Oh, it took me about 3 hours, I think, to do it. But yeah, Druids held their rituals in groves. Yeah, that's right. And yeah, so I think it's beautiful. I seem to remember I heard about this around the same time as the Wildwood, and I got that. It works really well with the Wildwood as well. Yeah, Maruta's got the Druid craft. And Jonathan, beautiful, but it doesn't call to me personally. That's absolutely fine. It's interesting. People's reactions to this deck. Three of Cups. Again, it's the camaraderie, and here you're inside. You get that real sense of. You can see how things work, like how the Viking era feeds into everything, and it's that wonderful, as I said, that Bronze Age there, and just the fact that we have a chicken in the foreground here. I love those little details. I love the art in the Wildwood, but rehomed it, never to use it. It's interesting that I'm doing the year in the Wildwood, and it's taken me 6 months to actually like the deck at this point. I have the Wildwood too, so are we in a gang? Yes, you are in a gang. And Kristen's got 2 Wildwoods. I bought a second copy when my cat ate my ancestor. Oh no. Let's go with gang. I like that. It's Friday. Let's go with the gang. Yeah, let's have a Wildwood gang. And Marita says Latvians do a lot of tree rituals too. Yeah. Hello, Angela. Good to see you. This is my favourite. I'd love to see your blue copy. Well, I might have to go and find that for you if I can remember where I put it. If not, I'll take some photos and put it on my Facebook page. Having said that, I can say that I am going to be doing one of these in a few weeks' time based on Will Worthington's Druid cards. By that, I mean his Druid animals and his Druid plants and his Druid trees and everything else Druid. So if I don't get it today, I will get the deck there and show it to you then. But it's my winter deck. I haven't yet done my spring and summer deck. I always forget to do that one. Just love the blues in this and the 8 of Swords. Just love it. The skies, as I said. The High Priestess is a bit of an interesting card. I don't like her expression on here. I love everything else that's going on there. I really get a sense of walking into this card, and I think with this deck, there is that ample opportunity to do that. You're going to get jackets when you're a jet. Oh, can I be part of the gang too? I'd like to be that. It is a nice 8 of Swords, isn't it? As I said, if you'd like me to show the cards off a bit more, do let me know. And the book's good. It's got a lot of detail in there, but it just isn't too fussy. I love the 4 of Pentacles. I love this idea of him locking away his valuables in this chest. But I also love the fact there's this massive space in the front. It's a bit like we are secretly spying on them a bit. It's a bit, yeah, you can tell this is being done in secrecy and that no one else should be looking at this action, and yet we are being voyeuristic about it, I suppose. Swear fealty to Leonard Bernstein. Oh, I could do I can't do it. I can't click my fingers now like West Side Story because I'm holding a deck of cards. It'll all go messily horrible. Yeah, we are peeking in. Anne says, I have my Wildwood signed by Mark Ryan. I met him at a Robin of Sherwood convention. He's a lovely guy. Oh, that's so nice. On my monitor, the cards are animated. Must be how they are shifted. Yes, my camera is a little bit delayed. So, yeah, they are a little bit animated. I'll try and hold them still. But, yeah, they've got that quality, haven't they? I think it's just my camera trying to pick it up. I've put the lights a bit lower in it. Now, the 5 of Pentacles, I love this card. I love this version of the 5 of Pentacles. we don't have the poor people outside the church. That's all gone. We've just got this greyhound chasing this hare, and this person that's just come outside. They're dressed in their finery, but there's absolute misery, you know, and pain in their body language. Yeah, like we're peeking through the keyhole. Yeah. This King of Swords I love because he reminds me very much of the elf in Lord of the Rings, and I can't think of the name. I watched it the other night. I love the expression. And again, the way the person's sitting, I love the plaid trousers. I love the fact we're up high with the background there going on. And there's a sense that this could be anywhere. I mean, not just in the UK, but there's a sense of space, and the skies again are just wonderful. King of Pentacles, I love this card because I love the wintry feel to it. There's the wren, there's the wonderful cloudy sky, looks quite cold, and there's holly and mistletoe, and this roaring fire with a pig's, or a boar, I should say, being. Actually, I would just love to be in that room and hear the King of Pentacles tell us his stories. Very grounding, and you know, the green and the red works so well. So I suppose I've never really looked at it, whether, again, his royal cards, his court cards depict the seasons. I don't know. I'll have to go back and have a look. I love this, talking about Boudica earlier on. There's a real sense of local queen chieftain there, riding on a chariot. Legolas. Elrond. Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. No, I would remember Orlando Bloom, Beth. I promise you I would remember that. It's some of that Harry Potter animation. You can't fool us. Oh, you lot make me laugh. Let's have a quick slug of coffee. Right. The Eight of Cups I love as well. I love the fact we have a lunar eclipse, I suppose, going on there. And there's a real sense he's having to go up this steep pathway to escape. But escape he will, and he's going whilst the moon is blocked, or the sun is blocked. So it's a good time to make the escape, make that change. Three of Wands is beautiful. I love that. And of course, how could I forget the Two of Wands? Let's get it in focus. We've actually got the Long Man of Wilmington after my channel. This is, sorry, it's a bit out of focus. There it is. There we go. So this chalk figure is about 5 miles out of the town I live on the hillside. And I'm lucky enough to go and visit it. So every 6 weeks, I have a group of people that do Sabbath celebrations under the watchful gaze of the Long Man of Wilmington. And there he is on the Two of Wands. So there we go. And that's 2 of us. It is a pretty chariot, yeah. Legolas is the elf. That King of Swords blue check trousers identical to my pajama bottoms, and that's all I can think when I see that card. It is a beautiful Two of Wands, yeah. I think it has to be my favourite Two of Wands. And the story of the Long Man, well, there's lots of legends about him, but he's often thought of as being the outline of a giant holding open a doorway in the hillside, whether that's to another level, to another plane, to the afterlife. But I love the sense of the Two of Wands as the start of walking through a threshold. Hanged Man, and there's green leaves coming out, so we have the green man there. How amazing to go and visit. One day, Sandra, I'm going to take you though, I promise. And this death card is wonderful as well, with the copper cauldron and the bats. And again, just the silhouettes of something. I think this is Silbury Hill I'm thinking of. I love the Fool card. I don't often say that, but I love the fact we've got mistletoe and they've got this young venture out, and the fact that the dogs are kind of whipping. I would say trimming it has really brought the images up close as well. Without having that big white border, you focus much more on the on the image. I love our Queen of Swords here. I love the air that flows through and her cloak blowing out there. Next year, absolutely, Sandra. And our High Priest, our Hierophant, loving it. Again, more plaid. We got the wren. So the druid animals are there. The wren is a very popular bird in druid mythology. And it's great to see so many represented here. The Lord, it's the Emperor, the Hermit. Interesting, the Hermit is, when you compare the others, he's quite distant. He's not up close, as I suppose he should be. I love the Queen of Pentacles in here. I love the Queen of Pentacles' feet. She's got amazing feet. If you have, next time you look at this deck, look at the Queen of Pentacles' feet. I love them. You can feel she's almost tapping out a rhythm with the drum that she's playing. Rebirth. So that's our Judgment. Two of Swords. I love the view of seeing the other side of the person and the pathway, the choice that's going on there. Maurice is one of my favourite fools. I got the deck for this picture. Yeah. And Vanessa says 2 of Wands reminds me of the white horse on the hill. You can see it from my kitchen in Wiltshire. Is that the Uffington white horse? Because that's amazing too. Now, the Six of Swords, I always think that the sky in here is makes me feel a bit bilious. It is bright yellow, but it really matches very well with the blue of the water here that seems to be magically moving in the camera. I've got a magic camera. Princess of Cups. So the princesses are the pages. Again, she's got lovely feet. But I love the autumnal colours. This is a card for now, isn't it? Those reds, that wearing a cloak, there's wind blowing and the leaves are just turning there. Oh, Cheryl. Oh. You're so lucky. We're so lucky to still have chalk figures because so many of them were where they grew over and got lost. I'd love to see more of the chalk figures being recovered if they could be. I love this Prince of Swords as well. Knight of Swords there. Nine of Cups. Again, loving the banner there. Very Celtic in design. Seven of Pentacles. So wintry. I love it. I'd like to be this person going to cut mistletoe by an old tree. I'd like to do that. I might do that this winter. Queen of Cups looks quite sultry. Looks quite maudlin as well. Interesting. Quite nice actually doing it, mixing the cards up. The King of Cups, again, interesting take on him because he's got his harp, he's got his implements there. He's obviously been around quite a lot. He's very contented, this King of Cups. It would be a wonderful view. The aces are beautiful, Kathy. Yeah. They show up, Calla, as in dry periods still. So like not crop circles, but parch marks. And they have quite a lot of records of them still. Not all of them. But I think you can they can do resistivity. What's the word? Resistivity? No, I can't say that word. Where they put things into the ground, probes and stuff, and they can work out what's been happening there. Resistance, that's the word I'm trying to say. Wheel is wonderful as well. I love the fact she's got this pendulum charm in her hand. And there's a real sense of movement, and I love the fact it's on the beach. Our Lover's card it's gorgeous because there's an intense pleasure there without being overtly sexual. And we have someone there with like a green man. And of course, they were the two characters that are in the Kanunos card as well. And the flowers have all got some very special meanings. These swords really remind me of the Celtic period. Again, that would be something that I would think of at this time. The Sun card, not my favourite, I have to be honest, but then, you know, it's what it is. But the Tower card is wonderful as well. Yeah, I love the Will card. Six of Wands. Six of Pentacles again. Do you know who this reminds me of? Go on, have a guess. Who in the tarot community looks like the Six of Pentacles? Go on, have a guess. I'm going to give you a moment. Who does that remind you of? Because I see this and I can only think of one person. Oh, I'm glad you think the Sun's adorable. It is a lovely card, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to come back to that one in a moment. Ace of Swords, so it's very Lady of the Lake. So again, Arthurian in style there. You got it, guys. Robin. I know Robin wouldn't mind. I think I probably told him a few times, but it does look like our Robin, doesn't it? Toastal Tarot. And the one card that I can never pronounce, so I'm not going to try, but that's our Temperance there. That's got Silbury Hill on it. Sandra and I went to, was it Silbury? A couple of years ago. I just love it there. Colour says, yeah, Toadstool Tarot. That's it. Yeah. The chalk figure and finding them reminds me of that show, History Digging or Time Travel. But Time Team. Yeah, Time Team were. Yeah, it's fascinating. Longman, the Two of Wands one. Sadly, he's no longer made of chalk. What they did is they, years ago, they put bricks around and painted it white. So it's not chalk, but by that it means that during the war he was able to be painted out green. They disguised him with green paint, which meant that he wouldn't, be a signpost to planes flying over. And then after the war, they painted him back white again. So at least he didn't get lost. And yeah, but it's on these slopes of these hills. They're often very the angle of the hill basically means that a lot of the soil gets washed down and often is filling up the grooves and the ditches that the chalk's cut out of there. So that's why they get lost quite quickly. So if they're not cared for after a series of a few years, they will disappear. It was amazing, wasn't it? Yeah. If I had a tattoo, it would be an Uffington white horse. I have a couple of necklaces. I love it. And you're absolutely right. I would as well. In fact, my husband Peter's got an Uffington horse t-shirt, which he very much likes. So that is, wow, have we really spent 40 minutes looking at that? Wow, it was worth every penny. I promise I'll go quicker with the other ones. That's the Druid craft, and I have to say that's probably the pinnacle of where we're going to go to today, but I'd like your thoughts on it. I'm just going to have a quick slurp of coffee quietly. Now we're going to the other extreme. I am not here to slag off anyone's work, but bear in mind what we've just been talking about, the love that we have for this. I'm now going to show you this one, okay, which is called the Celtic Tarot. So when I bought this, and I bought this with Sandra when we had a meetup in London, I was thinking, okay, this is going to be good because I like Christopher's work and he's done some amazing stuff. His recent Christmas tarot deck is stunning. This one doesn't do it for me. I'm going to be brutally honest. So I'm going to be kind because, not here to upset people and all their wonderful work. But this one, unfortunately, doesn't do it for me. And I'm going to quickly show you it because this has got nudity in it because the King of Cups is famous in this deck for being, how should we put it? Proud, I think is probably the term I would use. So it comes in this box, and the book is really good book, a really lovely book actually. It's thick, it's color illustrated, like you would expect. It's illustrated by Chris Downs, so Christopher wrote the book. And all intents and purposes, I thought, yeah, this was going to be a deck that would really begin to talk to me about the Celtic way and understanding it. Unfortunately, it doesn't. In fact, it makes me a little bit angry, this deck. Not because of it just doesn't feel right to me. Even today when I was trying to put this deck in order, it didn't want to work. It didn't want to play. It was hard work. And I was I nearly didn't show it because it was making me angry. So, but it's a Celtic tarot, so we are going to have a good look at this one. But it is shiny, so I'm just trying to get the light right on it there. It is again standard tarot size. In fact, it's a little bit shorter than it, okay? And the artwork in it is kind of computer collage-y. And again, I think the colours are just a little bit too bright. And the thing that I don't like about this deck, it just feels very, very flat. All the images in there feel like they needed a bit more 3 dimensions going on. Anyway, this one is in order, so we're going to just quickly flick through it. I will warn you when we get up to King of Cups. I'm trying to get the glare off it. That was beautiful. I'm writing it on my wish list. Oh, great. Beth says you could just show us the box and say, this is the deck that pisses me off. No, I'm not taking that. I could do that. But I'm going to just quickly, I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on it, which is a shame because there are some lovely images like this. Very, very Celtic. Very wonderful. But it just doesn't resonate. I don't know when it was made, actually, this deck. It's been around a few years. Kathy hasn't seen this one. Oh. Well, Kathy, if you want it, let me know. I'll send it to you. There's a lot of dragons in there, so if you do like your dragons, you'll be fine. I did actually really like the this card here, Merlin. The I forgot the name. That's how angry this deck makes me. I forget the cards. 10 of the Wheel of Fortune. That is very similar to the Druidcraft. Very similar. Yeah. But I do prefer Death. We've got here. The images again, very, very lovely. Or wrapped in a lot of the Druid Celtic world, but it just doesn't speak to me. There's an Oracle deck called the Celtic Shaman's Pack. Have you seen it? I think you might like it. No, I haven't seen that one. So I have to go on my Christmas list, I think. Yeah, I can see and feel the flatness. Yeah. It does feel very flat. And that's the problem with it. It doesn't seem to have very much life to it. He is a top scholar. Yeah, you're right, Kathy. Yeah. And he's a druid as well. He knows his stuff. I'm not sure about the hand coming out of the water there. The Celtic Shaman's Pack is lovely. I have that one. Oh, look, there we go. White Horse of Uffington. We were just talking about it. I'm not sure I like that baby, though. I really don't. Not sure about that one. That would have been better just like that, I think. Rebirth. So the story there, Talius in the water there, being rescued. Okay. Right, we're on to Cups, people. So this is in order. See, some of you know what's coming for the King of Cups. But it's nudity all the way through it, really, isn't there? There's some images I really do like about this. I'm not sure about how big would those cauldrons be to be on top of that? Oh, no, I'm just getting myself in a dark place. Let's not go there. 7 of cauldrons. Again, I just prefer the Druid craft version of it. Absolutely, Carl. Sometimes it's about the book, sometimes about the art. We don't always get both. You're absolutely right. I can do a walkthrough if you like. Ooh. Yes, we'd like to see a walkthrough of that one. It's the creepiest creepy baby ever. This is probably my least favourite Celtic. That's another club we need to belong to now. Least favourite Celtic deck. Okay, ready? Here we go. There we go. There's the king. Moving swiftly on. Shields for pentacles. Again, wintry feel. I like the fact we've got the seasons represented here. That's quite nice. I don't know why he's standing on a wall. That's the problem with this deck. I actually sit there and go, what? Why? Why is that happening? I also think the light's a bit wrong in some of it. Knights, I should have said, are all on dragons, which is nice. In fact, I think I let this one go. You made me buy this one, Sandra. I hasten to add. Which shot with Atlantis, wasn't it? We were in. Sandra definitely made me do it. 6 of Wands. So 6 of Wands is also on a dragon. A little bit confusing because the Knight's also on dragons, but I'll let that one go. I'm going faster and faster now. It's got a creepy vibe. Yeah, absolutely. I wish I had more attraction to Irish paganism. Nearly 50% Irish ancestry, but the mythology seems way too complicated. I've got a book, actually, I'm going to show you in a minute. Oh, I just realised that the King of Wands throne looks like a large... Yeah. Ace of Swords. Let's finish this one off so it's going nice and fast. Four, I don't get that one. I just don't get the Four of Swords. It doesn't look restful for me. It looks painful. Pinking. That one can't make me. You were interested because I said they called it the dick deck. That's right. And I went, oh, time to do that. She went, yeah, the king of... You knew all about it. You foxed me because of that one. Phallic symbol, anyone? Absolutely, yeah. I don't know. Floating babies, freaky king of cups. Even the dragons and the swords aren't doing it. We're nearly there, Calla. We're nearly there. Anne says, I haven't seen this one. Oh my gosh, the back of the sea. Yeah, well, there we go. We got through that one, folks. I'm not going to say any more about it. I think we've probably said enough. As I said, Christopher's done lots of other really wonderful decks. If anybody is ever interested in having this one, it can go to a good home. Obviously, if you're interested, really would like it, I'm very much not going to be using that one, so you're more than welcome to it. So that there is the Celtic Tarot by Christopher Hughes. Okay. I'm just having a moan. Please ignore me. The back of the seat. Swing and a miss. Right. Next one. Well, I'm going to show you this because actually Kristen was talking about books. This is a book that I picked up. I haven't started reading it yet because I've simply not had enough time. But it's quite the Mammoth Book of Celtic Myths and Legends. And it is split up into different areas. So there is the Irish, the Isle of Man, the Scottish, Welsh, Cornish, Britannic, and that was it. So that's quite an interesting book. I can't say any more about it because I simply haven't read it. I did pick this up from a charity shop, so that was quite fortunate there. But that's the only book that I really have about Celtic myths. So again, I need to learn a bit more. Yeah. prefer the other Celtic. Yeah, we're going to look at that bit in a moment. Okay, I really like that. I've just added it to my list. I'm laughing. Imagine putting that card out for someone having to keep a straight face. That's the problem, isn't it? When you have a deck like that, you just go, "Ooh, I don't know if I'd ever use that one," and I know I wouldn't use that. And if I did, it would upset me too greatly. So that's why we're moving on. Right. Whilst we are on Celtic decks, I'm going to show you the Lenormand version of the Will Worthington. I should say Will Worthington's Lenormand deck. So Will Worthington was the person who did the Druid craft, this one that we just looked at here. He also produced a Lenormand deck, which is gorgeous, and I love it. And I love it for many reasons. Firstly, he's got the right size for the Lenormand. So the Lenormand deck, if you don't know, is a different way of reading cards. The cards there are tiny. To give you an idea of how small these are, they're not even poker size. You can see how small these are. And the reason that these cards are so small is you're supposed to lay all of them out and do the whole reading from that. But I thought I'd show you these ones because, again, it's got the beautiful work of Will Worthington. I'm going to have to come in really close because they are minute, these cards. Just trying to get them there. So you have the star. I'm not going to read them all out, but you can just, again, see his wonderful artwork. It's not going to be easy to show. Okay. Clouds. I'm not going to, as I call out them all. But I just love the fact that it's almost like a still life, a snapshot of Celtic life there. There are several repeated cards because you can choose how you have your man or woman or tree, I think it is represented. So we have the bear. He really does a wonderful job, yeah. Debbie says this is a Norman I wanted but don't have yet. Carla, it looks a wonderful book, does it? Give away my age. My first thought was that print is so small. Do you know what? I do that the whole time. I look at a book and I go, I can't possibly read that. It's a shame. A lot of the books that I have on Ronald Hutton, the print size is tiny and I kind of almost need to get a magnifying glass to read it. I haven't got there yet, but it won't be too long. He obviously also did the Wildwood and all the Druid decks as well. And there's some more I'm going to show you in a minute as well. He does do a wonderful job. I don't know if Will Worthington, what else he's done. I mean, I only ever know him through cards illustrations. He must do other work. I don't know very much about him. It does work very well, the Green Witch, yeah. I've got a small magnifying glass, but I want one of those full page one. Yes, I want one of those when the time is right. Book. Rider. 8. What's the 8? House? What is it called? There's coffin. That's coffin, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Sometimes we don't know what Celtic funeral rites were like. There aren't any coffins, so we have to go with a sealed tomb there. This is the other woman card. Heart. One of the tree cards. And also, if you know Wildwood, you know it looks very much like those. This is Child. There's, I think, several versions of Child. That's the garden. That's beautiful stalks. Scythe. Letter. Anchor. Oh, there's the other rider card. A bit more speed with that rider card. There's another version of the birds. I don't tend to use this version. I think I use the owls for birds. Ship. Oh, snake warning. Yeah, forgot to mention that. There's the other child card. And there's the other man and woman card. So they're a bit more chieftain-y there that goes with that one. Oh, Maruta, don't tell me that. I nearly gave away my copy of Mrs. Greaves' Herbal and Telecom Specs. Yeah, it's coffin, yeah. Another bird, so this time we've got chickens, we've got the domestication there. Another version of dog, which is cat. And I love this tree, this kind of version of tree, the holly tree with the snow on it there. Yeah, I had to use the owl's sign. And lovely cross there, the Celtic cross there. So there's the Lenormand one. If you're new to Lenormand reading, it's a lovely deck to have in your collection. I possibly wouldn't start trying to learn the Lenormand off it, just because some of the images are a little bit different to the traditional Lenormand, but it's certainly you could move on to it. And I love reading with this one. Yeah, for the right kind of people, I think this is a really good Lenormand deck to use, and I often use it for myself. Not to belabor the point, but there is so much life and light in this Lenormand compared to the Celtic. Yeah, you're absolutely, yeah. Great. Okay, so that's 2 done. Where should we go next? Let's do this one. Now, this one is the Celtic Tarot. This is Courtney Davis. And this is a lovely deck, and it's one that I've had quite early on in my collection, and one that always brings me absolutely joy when I open it and read with it. Now, I don't read with it as much as I should do, and you'll see why in a moment, but the colours in this deck is just stunning. So I'm just going to grab a quick slurp of coffee. I love the chickens. Oh, you rehome ex-factory hens. Oh, I have these too. Okay, Callum's excited. Yeah, you can see how old this is. It's coming. Do you remember like cassettes and computer games used to come on videos? Those people remember videos. This plastic box. This is how old it is. You can still buy this though. It's still available on eBay. I paid $17.99 for that. That's not the original price, I think. But yeah. Anyway, it comes with the super book. This one does at least. It's very old. Aquarium Press. I think they're still making it. What was the date of this? 1990. 34 years ago. It can't be. Wow. So the cards are lovely and thick. This is before they put ribbons in boxes so you could get them out. You have to kind of poke about with them. There we go. Let's move that out of the way. So this really draws on the Celtic style, the knotwork card, comparing to the size of a tarot. Let's get that one up. It's the same height, but it's much thicker. It's almost oracle size nowadays. You could trim it, but I think that would be a bit of a shame because it's really lovely cardstock, lovely backs, and you get a real sense of just the colours of this deck. And I hope the camera's going to do it justice. Slurp, slurp, sip, sip. Absolutely. I like an old video too. Okay, so this one again, I didn't put in order, but so basically it's a pip deck, but the major arcana and the court cards reflect Celtic myths, legends, whatnot going on. So I will quickly go through it all, but obviously some of the pip decks are just quite repetitive, but still beautiful, so it's worth looking at. Everything's got, it's all kind of, I'm just trying to, don't know if it's going to pick it up, but all of this is like tiny dot work, the colour in it. So it's like a dark blue and a light blue making up that. I'm not sure the camera's going to pick it up, but that's what adds this gorgeousness to it all. And every single card has got a different knotwork Celtic band pattern. Oh, so I'm just going to pick them up and stroke them. If you would like me to have a little look in the book about some of the characters, do let me know. But as I say, they all draw on the Celtic pantheon. This is the Celtic Tarot, not to be confused with Celtic Tarot, which is the one that we looked at with Christopher Hughes. So this is the Courtney Davis one. The moon card is fabulous. I think it's the story of Arianrod. I might be wrong, but I love the lunar cycle that goes around there, and the Virgin and the Crone there. This is the birth of Lou. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's so pretty. I adore these borders. Absolutely, you wouldn't want to cut this one off. I don't have it, but I saw on Candy's channel, the art is so striking. Yeah, so pip decks, but again, just what the beautiful colours that they are. And then each of the, as I said, the court cards, let me get this right, the pages would be something, I can't remember what it is, but I know that all the knights are based on Arthurian knights, and the kings and the queens are characters from either Celtic history or from the pantheon. It's just stunning. So that's Gawain, I think it's Gawain, with the Search for the Chalice. And even the wands, the way you've got like the fire crackling up and the smoke is just wonderful. Borders are like a necklace. Beautiful historical costume. It is a must, yeah. Donna says, I have this version in the Barnes & Noble version. The cardstock of this one is much nicer, yeah. Maybe I could do a video showing all my Celtic decks. That would be really nice. It's amazing when you start having a look around going, right, okay, what do I include? It's been really interesting, and it's nice to go back and just have a good look at them. As I said, I don't use this one that often because I don't really read with pip decks, if I'm honest. However, this, I would give it a go, and I would just do the conversion between, you know, what the Four of Wands is for an RWS. I wouldn't read it any other way than that. It does look like stained glass. You're right, Kathy. Sandra says, and says, yes, they are so friendly. Such a shamelessly commercial. Oh, talking about hens still, yeah. Oh, get sent away and stored when they're only 72 weeks old. Oh, I really admire people that rehome battery hens, and particularly when they have to have little things knitted for them. It's really lovely. Yes to the Celtic deck walkthrough, says Vanessa, yes, please. It's strange that it's this time of year, autumn into winter, that I really reach for these decks. And I don't know why. Perhaps it's a whole thing about light levels, dark nights, stories. I tend to read a lot more in the winter months, legends and stories about these. So yeah, it's not a deck that I would use in the summer. Even the way the pip cards are laid out, the patterns are gorgeous, like a carpet. Queen of Wands. I think the Queen of Wands is Boudica. I think a young Boudica, I read. Knight of Queens. The font's lovely too. I love the thickness of the pen. I think, oh no, there's a few more Queen of Coins. You get a real Irish vibe there. And that's our full card. I don't know if you can see, there's like dogs chasing him and leading him. So there's the dog, there's also the dog kind of biting him, which is very, it goes back to the old Marseille style, doesn't it? Of the fool having the dog biting him on the backside. High Priestess is gorgeous. My Fairy Wicker Tarot is a Celtic pick deck too, is it? Oh. Yeah, the wand cards are beautiful. Looks like Bridget, it does, doesn't it? As I said, the cards, all the myths are in here. It's a lovely book to read, actually. Nice big font as well, so we're okay. We don't need our magnifying glass for this one. Empress, I love the background, that Emperor card. It's just like a jewel box. And reminds me of like the Lindisfarne Gospels and all those illustrated manuscripts as well. Yeah, Chariot card's lovely with the stars in it. Hermit. That's better than the other Hermit card. That's fabulous, Wheel of Fortune. I like this kind of, I don't know who he is, a fool or somebody on an advisor sitting by the side of the King of Coins. His throne. And the King's got this really long list of things, of demands that people have made on him, or adding up the receipts or something. It's just wonderful. King of Swords gives me a bit of a Macbeth vibe going on here. It looks like he's got sort of fangs, but it's not. It's the way his beard has been drawn. Ham says, I love the Dark Knights, probably because I was born early November. He's still painting Courtney Davis. He has a website. Oh, wow. Oh, that's fantastic. There we go. So King of Cups and King of Wands. There we go. So Courtney Davis, the Celtic Tarot. What, another one called the Celtic. This is the Celtic Tarot. So, make sure you get the right one. But there's a lot of copies of this available on eBay. And I think it comes in a box now that's long and more rectangular, so they got rid of the plastic video cassette version. I do often have this one out in a pouch, actually, or a bag. I'm going to put these away, otherwise if I drop these they're going to go over. Right, so we have 2 more to go. And which one? So we're going to move a little bit away from Celtic pantheons and lifestyle, and I thought I'd show you the Beowulf Oracle, because Beowulf was a poem, the great poem, I should say, that came out of the period that we're looking at. Do you ever find it hard to read decks that are too busy? Broken Mirror is beautiful. Yes, Vanessa, I do. Having said that, Broken Mirror, the 4th version, is one of my absolute favorites. I don't have a problem. It's very small, the images in it. It is busy, but I don't have a problem. But things like, is it Apocalypse? Something like that. Oh, yeah, that one is just way too busy. My eyes feel like they're bleeding looking at those decks. And so I don't tend to use those at all. Anything that makes my eyes dart around and work hard, I tend to not. What's the other deck that goes? The Apocalypse. That's the other one. And it's just too busy, far too busy. Yeah. The other one's book says Branches of the Celtic Tarot. Oh, right. Wow. Right, so the Beowulf Oracle, this I bought last year, and I was really lucky. I went again up to London without Sandra this time, to a shop called Atlantis Books, which you have to say is my favourite bookshop, tarot shop in London. And the creator, Joe Machine? Yeah, Joe Machine, that's right. Was launching the deck and had some of the original artwork hanging up as well, and it was fascinating to go and see the artwork that is attached to this one. So this one comes in a beautiful slide box. I have to be suitably honest about this one, is that I don't use this deck because it's a little bit confusing to follow the instructions that happen for it. Okay. The book is lovely, but it has several layers to it. And this is what got a little bit confusing, is that you kind of, from my memory, you pick like a significator, and then you pick one of the Norn cards, and then you kind of read whichever one it is that goes with it. So you can either have challenger or hero or other things going on. And I just found that a bit too confusing. I've got very used to Oracle cards that just turn over and you have a couple of keywords on there. And being a lazy person, I decided that I wasn't going to sit there and try and learn the book. And so, to be honest with you, I've never put it away. I never got it out, but I do like looking at the art one. So I'm going to show you this one. So these are the 3 Norn cards. I'm just going to put those to one side. On the back of it, you get a helmet design. So you have Skuld, Vidani, and Ood. I'll show you those. And these ones are by lino cut. These ones. And this is how the Oracle works, is that you pull one, whether you're looking at past, present, or the future. Now, these are different style to the rest of the cards, but actually these would work really beautifully as cards to put on a sacred space or altar, something like this. Okay, so the rest of it is based on the Beowulf saga. Beowulf. And the colours in here are fabulous, and there's so much texture. I'm just trying to get it lined up to the camera so you can see it. And as I said, I was lucky enough to see the artwork, and up close it was stunning. Old Woody Allen joke, never take any class where they make you read Beowulf. I think it was in Annie. I think you're right. I don't think I have read Beowulf. I think I have seen the film. I know a little bit about it, but yeah. Oh, you read Beowulf at school? Oh, wow. So I don't know who these characters are. I've heard of Grendel and Grendel's mother. This would work very well with the Druid craft, I think. But as I said, I'm just a little bit too lazy to go and start learning all the different decks itself and the different meanings. But the artwork is just phenomenal. That's fine colour. I was tempted to put this one in when I was doing the Viking walkthrough or the Nordic walkthroughs, but I had too many decks, so I thought I would fire off this one and put it in with this one. And I'm sure you'll agree it fits really nicely with it. Shield Chiefs. The Stolen Cup. I'm pleased I got this one out. The artwork is beautiful, and there's lots of runes hidden in the artwork. So I've got runes on our sleeve there. The Wailing Widow. It's basically a story about the importance of fidelity, yeah? Hardly remember, many decades ago. Oh, there we go. So that's that one there. I can't add that much more to it, but I just think it's really lovely images. And I wanted to show you that one. We are down to our last one. And it's almost full circle because now we're going to go Arthurian. But do you notice it's by Will Worthington? So we're back to our Druid craft artist here. So this is one I picked up. It was reduced. I think about half price at the time. So again, I think it's very available. It was only brought out a few years ago. Again, this is an Oracle deck I really wanted because of the Will Worthington art. It's stunning and again works brilliantly with the Druid craft. However, I am not very good at my Arthurian legend. And again, this was a bit more of a complicated Oracle than I thought it was going to be. Let's try and get it out of the box. That's the back of it there. It comes with a large layout sheet, which is automatically putting me off because things that have layout sheets, so you can see here it comes with things like that. A map of the lands. It's beautifully illustrated, and you're supposed to lay this out on the table and use it to kind of put your cards on. But I don't do things like that, so I've never bothered. Artwork and the book again is absolutely lovely. And this has really, I think, been drawn from life because the way that the characters are represented, you can see that there's a real humanity, a real life to them. And it's laid out very similar to any of the other books that John Matthews has worked on. So it's the same kind of layout as Druidcraft. You've got the qualities, got the aspect, and a little bit about how they fit into the Grail and the Arthurian legend. And then that's where you start to interpret where they are, as in where you've put them on the layout here. So whether they've gone to the wells or the hermitage, you kind of get a prompt to do some journaling, which is nice, but it's not for me right now. But we will have a look at the images because I really want you to see these. They are about the same size as tarot, just a bit fatter again, a bit wider there, but the same height. And they're just named after the different characters that you get in the Arthurian legend, but just really love Will Worthington's art there. Oh, the map was missing, was it, Sandra? The artwork is gorgeous. Skin on the serpent. Yeah. Thank you, Calla. Worthington's such great, lovely drawings. Yeah. And says, not seen this one. I tried the layout thing, but I know I wouldn't use it. Exactly. I almost need to take it out of the box and just use the cards, I think. Almost have them perhaps as signifiers, or just have them as drawing perhaps the energies and just do it that way. Oh, the deck was sealed though, was it? Oh, that's interesting. Morgana. It would actually work with the Wildwood as well. But let's... Percival. Questing Beast, I love that. Ragnar. That's a cracking image. That looks so similar to some of the Druid craft, doesn't it? It's wonderful. That's what I was thinking, Rue, to write to the publisher and ask for them. Okay, so then they come on to these ones, which are the different parts of the layout. I can't remember how you use it, but the deepening path, the wandering path, honoured path. As I say, I like an oracle card. You just pull and go with it. I don't need a whole new system behind it. And I know that makes me sound a bit boring. But, you know, when you're busy trying to do a year in the Wildwood, and I've also got the Arthurian legend tarot to do as well, I don't think I can cope with many more new systems. Anne says, I've so enjoyed this evening. Oh, thank you, Anne. I back listened to your live assignment earlier and subscribe to your channel and set the notify. I get a nice vibe from your energy. Thank you, Andrew. It's lovely. Thank you for saying that. It's lovely having you here. And I'm always here most Fridays as well, so I tend to do a live. So lovely to see you. Kathy says, I love anything to do with Arthurian legends. All right. Yeah, me too. I've never, I think I had them read to me when I was younger. But I seem to have forgotten an awful lot. And I'm trying to plough through makes it sound like it's a torture. The Stephen Lawhead books based on Arthur and Merlin. I read the first one and then I stopped because I didn't have the second one. I got the third and the fourth one. And again, it's the kind of thing that I like to read in the winter time there. It's Balin. It's a Bedivere. I think he might be my favourites of Bedivere. I often think about the Monty Python though as well. Film. He's cool. Turning Green. What is the Green Knight's in this? Blaze? I don't know half of these characters. Dendron. The Flame Man. Elaine of Carbonek. Galahad. Oh, that's striking. Good bone structure, Sir Galahad. Gareth. Sir Gawain. Oh, he was the Green Knight, wasn't he? There's Guinevere. Going to catch up with some chat, so I've missed it. Lots of people chatting. I've missed lots of stuff. So I bought a second-hand deck on eBay. Whenever, and they're sealed but not new. Okay. Beth says, I read The Once and Future King when I was little. Loved it. Mr. Avalon. I do have the Mr. Avalon Oracle. I've never read the book. Arthurian Legends of the Mythology of the English-speaking Peoples. How lovely statement there. And Kathy says, although I can't hear the word Camelot without singing the song from Holy Grail, it reminds me of Push the Camelot. I know. I love that film. But yes, it has kind of ruined me ever looking at an Arthurian film again. And the last one is obviously The Lady of the Lake. And that's a stunning card as well. Been obsessed with the Arthurian legend since I was a teen and have many more forms of the story. Big as a shrubbery, absolutely. Night. Okay, watch out, I'm coming back now. So here I come, full screen. So there we go. We did an hour and a half. Wow, I thought it was only going to be about an hour. So that's been great spending company with you and talking about it, and I appreciate everybody who've been putting their comments in. It's what makes these so much fun, and it's just nice kind of talking about stuff that you like, stuff why you like it, and perhaps stuff why we don't like it, and getting not necessarily reassurance that perhaps it's not just me, but you know, everyone has different taste, don't they? So things like that. And Camelot's one of my favourite. I've never seen Camelot, I don't think, all the way through. Yeah, you got the music from Camelot. So there we go. So those are the 6 decks. There's probably a lot more. I'm going to go and look up that Oracle deck that Maruta or Sandra mentioned, and I can't remember which one it was, so I'm really sorry. Might have to put that in again. Callie, you're very lucky. It was lovely spending time with you. I love these decks, and we all bring our perspectives together. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's so nice, isn't it? And I love it when people go, well, I don't have this deck and it doesn't resonate with me, because I think that is really, I think it's important to remember when we do readings for people. You know, I often just select the decks that I resonate with, and we do readings for them. And obviously, I'm the person doing the reading, so therefore it kind of has to work for me. But it'd be interesting to see. Sometimes you get cards, and you know, I often use the Druid class, and if people it doesn't gel with them, I'm just wondering how that affects their interpretation of what they're saying there. The Celtic Shamans pack, I will remember that one there. So, but I really appreciate all your wonderful comments. Thank you. You're very, very welcome, Vanessa, and have a wonderful time on your trip. Also recommend the Celtic Goddess Oracle. Oh, now that's interesting, because for some reason I don't have many goddess oracles or goddess themed oracles or even goddess themed tarot decks. I just wouldn't use them. I know it doesn't quite do it for me, but I will go and have a look. Have a look at some of that. Oh, you're very, very welcome. Yeah, rest in peace, Michael Gambon. Absolutely. That was really sad, wasn't it? He was great as Dumbledore. He was also great in the Singing Detective as well. That was a weird thing back in the 90s. You're very, very welcome. I am back here on next Friday with Jackie from Crystal Moon. The Moon Crystal. Yeah, Jackie is going to be joining us for a chat, and I'm looking forward, because I haven't had a chance to properly speak to Jackie. I know she's always in chats. So Jackie will be here with me on next Friday for a catch up. Tuesday, I am with Gerald doing caffeinated readings. Lord help us. It's going to be dark. But I'm looking forward to doing those ones. And then I've got some really exciting things coming up. In a couple of weeks' time, I have Andrea Asti, who is the Alchemist Tarot. He's coming on for a chat and a talk about his wonderful deck. So please join me for that. Here we go. Future topics. How much does the choice of tarot deck affect the reading in tandem with the reader? That would be fascinating, wouldn't it? Jackie is hilarious. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's really interesting. Yeah. How much does the choice of a tarot deck affect the reading in tandem? That'd be fantastic. Yeah. Great topic for conversation. Well, I am going to do as I said, the Will Worthington Druid ones. I'm going to call them the Druid deck. So we'll probably get the Druid graft out again. But I've got the Druid trees, the Druid plants, and the Druid animals. So that would be really, really good to have a look at with her, because we all love Will Worthington. Oh, look, just arrived in time. We mentioned you earlier, Robin. We talked about you. I hope you're very well, my friend. And you're very, very welcome. Thank you to everyone for watching here. Have a great weekend. How to choose which deck to read for. Yeah. I did share the Celtic Lenormand. You'll have to go back and watch it. You get a special mention. Anyway, I am going to wish you all a wonderful weekend, and hopefully see you next Friday here. I'll put the link out on Facebook, as I always do. I might see you on Gerald's channel, but there's lots of other exciting things coming up. So remember, like and subscribe, and I shall see you really, really soon. So thanks for coming, and have a great weekend. Bye.